Living with diabetes can feel like a balancing act, or especially as we get older. But there's good news. The top 6 best nuts for diabetic patients are here to lend a hand. These little treasures, almonds, walnuts, pistachios, pecans, macadamias, and hazelnuts, aren't just tasty, they work hard to keep blood sugar steady and your heart ticking strong. They're easy to enjoy whether you're at home or on the go, and they fit right into our golden years. Think of them as nature's way of saying, "You've got this." So let's take a closer look at how these nuts can brighten your days and support your health, one delicious bite at a time. Let's kick things off with almonds, the nut that's like the MVP of the diabetes-friendly snack world. If you're looking for something simple, reliable, and packed with goodness, almonds are your go-to. They've been a favorite for years, and for good reason. They're not just tasty, they're a real ally when you're keeping an eye on blood sugar. So what makes almonds so special? Start with the basics. A 1 ounce serving, that's about 23 almonds, or a nice little handful, has just 7 grams of carbohydrates. Now, 3 of those grams are fiber, and that's a big deal for us. Fiber slows down how fast sugar hits your bloodstream, which means no wild ups and downs after you eat. For anyone with diabetes, that's like having a steady hand on the wheel, keeping things smooth and calm. Plus, almonds are low on the glycemic index, so they don't cause those sneaky spikes we all want to avoid. Then there's the fat, 14 grams per ounce, mostly the monounsaturated kind. Don't let the word fat scare you off. This is the good stuff. It's the same healthy fat you find in olive oil, and it's a champion for your heart. Since diabetes can put extra pressure on our ticker as we age, that's a benefit we can't ignore. Almonds also bring magnesium to the table, about 76 milligrams in that ounce. Magnesium helps your body use insulin better, and when insulin's working right, your blood sugar stays happier. It's like giving your system a little tune-up. Now let's talk flavor and fun, because eating well shouldn't feel like a chore. Almonds have that satisfying crunch and a mild nutty taste that goes with just about anything. How do you work them into your day? Easy. Grab a small handful, say 10 to 15 almonds, for a quick snack when you're watching TV or reading the paper. They're portable too. Toss some in a little baggie for when you're out visiting friends or running errands. If you like a warm breakfast, sprinkle some slivered almonds on your oatmeal with a dash of cinnamon. It's a cozy way to start the morning, and it keeps you full longer. Feeling a bit creative? Try a teaspoon of almond butter on a slice of whole grain toast. Smooth and delicious, especially if chewing's a challenge. Or blend a few into a smoothie with some berries and unsweetened almond milk. It's a treat that won't mess with your numbers. One study even found that eating almonds with a meal can lower the blood sugar rise afterward. Pretty smart, right? A couple of things to keep in mind. Stick to unsalted almonds. Too much salt can nudge your blood pressure up, and we want to keep everything in balance. Also, they've got about 160 calories per ounce, so a handful is plenty. Don't go overboard. Whether you're new to almonds or they're already a staple, they're a simple way to feel good and stay on track. Here's a rewritten version of the number 2 walnuts section, expanded to approximately 500 words. It keeps the warm, conversational tone suitable for an elderly American audience, adds more detail and practical advice, and aligns with the audio narration format while focusing on diabetes management. Next up, we've got walnuts. Those crinkly little nuts that look like tiny brains, and trust me, they're just as smart for your health. If you're managing diabetes and want something that's good for your body and your mind, walnuts deserve a spot in your kitchen. They're a bit different from other nuts, and that's what makes them so special. Let's break it down. A 1 ounce serving, about 14 walnut halves, has just 4 grams of carbohydrates with 2 grams of fiber. That's a tiny amount of carbs, which is perfect when you're trying to keep blood sugar from jumping around. The fiber helps slow things down so your system doesn't get overwhelmed after a snack. For those of us with diabetes, that's like a gentle pat on the back, steady and reliable. Walnuts also have a low glycemic index, meaning they won't send your sugar levels on a wild ride. What really sets walnuts apart is their omega-3 fatty acids, specifically something called ALA, or alpha-linolenic acid. It's a mouthful to say, but it's a big deal for your heart. Omega-3s can lower that pesky LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, and since diabetes often brings a higher risk of heart trouble as we age, this is a win we can all appreciate. Walnuts also pack antioxidants called polyphenols. These little fighters tackle inflammation, which can creep up with diabetes and make things harder on your body. Less inflammation means more energy for feeling your best. Taste-wise, walnuts have a rich, earthy flavor, maybe a touch bitter, but in a good way. How do you enjoy them? Oh, there's so much you can do. Try tossing a few halves into a salad, pair them with spinach and a light dressing for a crunchy bite, or mix some chopped walnuts into plain yogurt with a drizzle of sugar-free honey. It's a simple treat that feels special. If you're a morning person, sprinkle them over a bowl of warm oatmeal with some berries. They add texture and keep you satisfied till lunch. For the bakers out there, sneak a handful into a low-carb muffin recipe. Your taste buds will thank you. Here's a little story. My neighbor Sue started keeping a jar of walnuts on her counter. She'd grab 5 or 6 in the afternoon instead of cookies, and she swears it's helped her feel steadier. Research backs her up. Studies show walnuts can improve blood vessel health, which is a bonus for us seniors. A couple of tips. Walnuts have about 185 calories per ounce, so a small handful, maybe 7 or 8 halves, is just right. Skip the salted or candied kinds. Plain is the way to go to avoid extra sodium or sugar. If chewing's tough, try crushing them into a powder and stirring it into soup or a smoothie. Walnuts are a little nut with big benefits. Give them a try and see how they fit into your day. Now let's turn to pistachios, those cheerful green nuts that bring a bit of fun to the table. If you're looking for a snack that's as enjoyable as it is good for you, pistachios are a fantastic pick. They're not just a pretty face, they've got some serious benefits for anyone keeping diabetes in check, and they're perfect for us as we enjoy our later years. So what's the scoop on pistachios? A 1-ounce serving, about 49 nuts, which sounds like a lot but fits nicely in your hand, has 8 grams of carbohydrates with 3 grams of fiber. That fiber is your friend, slowing down sugar absorption so your blood glucose stays nice and even. Here's the real kicker. Pistachios have a low glycemic index. That means even if you eat a decent handful, they won't send your blood sugar soaring. Studies have shown that munching on pistachios can actually improve how your body handles glucose over time. Pretty impressive for such a small nut. They're also loaded with good stuff. 13 grams of healthy fats per ounce, mostly the heart-friendly monounsaturated kind. Add in 6 grams of protein, and you've got a combo that keeps hunger at bay. Perfect for dodging those tempting sweets we sometimes crave. Pistachios bring potassium too, about 290 milligrams in an ounce, which helps keep blood pressure in line. For us seniors, that's a little extra peace of mind, since diabetes can make heart health a bigger focus. I love pistachios because they're fun to eat. Those shells give you something to do with your hands. Crack open 20 or 30 while you're chatting with a friend or watching your favorite show. The shells slow you down, so you're less likely to overdo it, a built-in trick for portion control. You can also mix them into a homemade trail mix with a few unsweetened dried cranberries. Just a small scoop keeps it diabetes-friendly. Or try chopping them up and sprinkling them over roasted veggies like carrots or broccoli for a nutty crunch that feels fancy without the fuss. My cousin Ed swears by pistachios. He keeps a bowl on his coffee table and says they've cut his afternoon snacking urges in half. Science agrees. Research suggests pistachios can lower blood sugar spikes when paired with a carb-heavy meal. Imagine that, a handful of these green gems making your day a little smoother. A few pointers. Go for unsalted pistachios to keep sodium low. Those flavored ones can sneak in too much salt or sugar. They've got about 160 calories per ounce, so 20 to 30 nuts is a sweet spot. If shells are hard on your fingers, grab the shelled kind from the store. They're just as tasty. Pistachios are a bright, delicious way to support your health. Pop a few and enjoy the ride. Let's move on to pecans, those smooth, buttery nuts that feel like a warm hug from the South. If you've ever savored a slice of pecan pie or just love a rich, natural flavor, Pecans are going to steal your heart all over again. They're not just for special occasions. They're a smart, everyday choice for keeping diabetes in check, especially as we enjoy our golden years. What makes pecans shine? A 1-ounce serving, about 19 halves or a cozy handful, has just 4 grams of carbohydrates with 3 grams of fiber. That's a tiny net carb count, which is music to our ears when we're watching blood sugar. The fiber keeps things steady, slowing down how fast sugar gets into your system. No spikes, just calm and collected. Pecans are also packed with monounsaturated fats, 12 grams per ounce. That's the good fat, the kind that looks after your heart. Since diabetes can make heart health a bigger deal as we age, pecans are like a trusty sidekick, helping us stay strong. They've got a little extra too, zinc and magnesium, which play a quiet but important role in blood sugar control. Magnesium, about 34 milligrams per ounce, helps insulin do its job better, while zinc supports your overall wellness. What I adore about pecans is their natural sweetness, no added sugar needed. That buttery taste feels like a treat, even though they're low-carb and diabetes-friendly. Studies even hint that pecans can lower heart disease risk, which is a comforting thought for us seniors. How do you bring pecans into your day? They're so easy to love. Grab a small handful, maybe 10 or 12 halves, for a quick snack while you're reading or relaxing. I like to toast them lightly, 5 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees, and toss them into a salad with some greens and a splash of vinaigrette. It's simple but feels special. For breakfast, stir a few chopped pecans into your oatmeal with a pinch of cinnamon. It's warm, filling, and won't mess with your numbers. If you're missing pecan pie, try a low-carb version with a pecan crust. Just a touch of sugar-free sweetener, and you're golden. My friend Clara keeps a tin of pecans by her armchair. She says they're her secret to skipping the candy jar. Research backs her up. Eating pecans can improve cholesterol levels, giving your heart a little boost. Imagine that. A nut that tastes like dessert but works like medicine. A couple of tips. Stick to plain, unsalted pecans. Those candied ones add sugar we don't need, and too much salt can nudge blood pressure up. They've got about 200 calories per ounce, so a handful is plenty. Whether you're a pecan pro or trying them anew, they're a delicious way to care for yourself, one sweet bite at a time. Next, let's talk about macadamia nuts, the creamy, dreamy treat that feels like a little indulgence. These nuts might cost a bit more, but oh, they're worth it for their rich flavor and the way they support your health. If you're managing diabetes and want something that's both delicious and good for you, macadamias are a luxurious choice that fit beautifully into our later years. So what's the deal with macadamias? A 1-ounce serving, about 10 to 12 nuts, a small but satisfying handful, has just 4 grams of carbohydrates with 2 grams of fiber. That's super low, exactly what we want when keeping blood sugar steady. What makes macadamias stand out is their fat content, 22 grams per ounce, mostly monounsaturated. Yes, that's a lot of fat, but don't worry. It's the heart-healthy kind, like in avocados or olive oil. Since diabetes can put extra strain on our hearts as we age, this is a big plus. That fat also keeps you full, so you're less likely to reach for something sugary when hunger strikes. There's more. Macadamias have a special fatty acid called palmitoleic acid. Some studies suggest it might improve insulin sensitivity, meaning your body could use insulin more effectively, helping blood sugar stay in line. For us seniors, that's like a gentle nudge in the right direction. They've also got a touch of manganese and thiamine, which support energy and overall wellness. Little bonuses in every bite. Macadamias taste like a treat. Smooth, buttery, almost velvety. How do you enjoy them? They're perfect on their own. Just 6 or 8 nuts make a rich snack while you're sitting on the porch or catching up with a friend. I like to keep a small stash in my purse for when I'm out and about. It's an easy pick-me-up. If you're in the kitchen, chop a few and mix them into a low-carb dessert, like a crust for a sugar-free cheesecake. Fancy but simple. Or try grinding a couple into your morning coffee for a nutty twist that feels gourmet without the guilt. My sister-in-law, Dot, started adding macadamias to her routine. She says they're her splurge that doesn't spike her sugar. Science agrees. Research shows these nuts can lower bad cholesterol, giving your heart some love. Imagine that. A snack that feels decadent but works hard for you. A few things to watch. They pack about 200 calories per ounce, so a small handful is plenty. Don't get carried away by that creamy goodness. Stick to unsalted ones. Flavored versions can sneak in sodium or sugar we don't need. If chewing's tricky, blend them into a smooth macadamia butter and spread a teaspoon on a low-carb cracker. Macadamias are a little luxury that's big on benefits. Treat yourself and see how they brighten your day.